Hey internet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay or LiJo, and today I'm going to be speaking to you on objective personalities animal activation. Now, if you don't know about the animals or how the animals are made up as it relates to OP, I have a video on that. You can go check that out as a reference. But today we are going to be talking about this activation. What does it mean? What does it mean if a demon function is double activated? Are you better at it? Are you worse? This will be an easy way to look at it, and if you'd like to talk to me about this or anything else related to the cognitive functions, your journey with the brain things, you can book a session with me below on Snug. All right, so I have a question for you. Do you have that certain item in your kitchen that's just kind of like your go-to? Like, no matter if you're making a stir fry or if you're like stirring around the pasta, there's like that certain spoon you just kind of tend to grab over the rest. Now, does that mean that there's no better utensil for the job? Not necessarily. There may be an actual piece of adequate kitchen equipment that would do the job actually quite a bit better. But in your mind, the item that you just mentally and physically access first is the spoon. I mean, I know I should use a strainer to strain the pasta, but I use the spoon with the holes just because I don't want to wash the strainer. So I still go for the spoon. And with that said, welcome to animal activation, my friends. So for the sake of this video, when you think of the various animals, which are comprised of two functions, you're going to think of them as accessing certain kitchen utensils. Now, those functions may be in a savior state, so that means you're probably using the right utensil for the right thing. I mean, that's why it's a savior. You may also be overusing it, and as a result, cooking soup for 20 years, and that has its own set of problems, but we're not going to look at that too much. So the animals are the functions that we are accessing with our energy. They're the spoons, they're the spatulas that we're defaulting to no matter what. So as a lead blaster, when I am entering any situation in life, the metaphorical kitchen, if you will, I am defaulting to these two functions in a savior state, no matter what. These are the ones that I grab in my kitchen the most. OI, which for me represents NI, and DE, which for me represents TE. But a really interesting question is, what happens when you're double activated on a demon function because of your animal stack? And what does that actually mean? Well, like I just said, you are accessing that function more. You're picking up that piece of kitchen equipment more times throughout the week, even if you aren't using it in the best way. All right, so let's say, for example, you're an INFJ, which means you're NIFE, and you have double activation on your extroverted sensing. So that means your animal stack would be something like blast, play, consume, and sleep last. Having play and consume in the top three would cause that OE function to be double activated. So here I am, the INFJ. I am doing a lot of play, and I'm doing a lot of consume as well. And so even though these are my second and third animals, I am picking up these tools quite often. Notice this one is staying in my hand, right? So I am using it more. All right, so what are the pros and the cons of this? Well, because you are accessing it more, even though it's a demon, essentially you are getting more practice using that function. But mind you, it is still a demon. It is still a demon function that you just happen to be accessing more. Let's say you're an ESFP that is consume sleep, so you have double activated OI, which means you'd have double activated NI, right? So you got this nice knife that you're using a bit more often than maybe your average ESFP, right? Can you use a knife to flip a pancake? Yeah, you can. Is it the right tool for the right job? Nope. If you use a knife to flip a pancake a few times a week for a year, are you probably going to be a little bit better at flipping pancakes with a knife than like the average person that was, or a type that's similar to yours that doesn't have that kind of use, that's not using their energy in that way? Yeah, you probably actually will be. Does it mean you should be using a knife to flip a pancake? No. But are you still okay at flipping pancakes with it? Yeah. All right, and on the other hand, double activations on your savior. So for a type like myself, so I'm blast, play, sleep, consume. My top two functions, NI and TE, are both double activated, and my bottom two functions are single activated. That means I am accessing with my energy my top two functions more than I am accessing my lower two functions. So having consume last and not having any additional activation on these two functions for myself, which is consume, means I am so okay not doing consume. I am very okay not using my SE and FI if I don't have to, right? If my other functions, my top functions, don't demand it. And while that means that, sure, I can do my saviors great, very proficiently. My saviors are also both masculine NI and masculine TE, double masculine blast. Like, it's very punchy at the top of my function stack. It means that I am not practicing my demons without conscious effort. However, I do have one good thing going for me, which is I have play second. So that means that I'm actually using OE, which is for me SE, a little bit more than average. So I'm using my TE and my SE in my second place in my animal stack. So I will use that function a little bit more. And so it's not quite as out there as it possibly could be. However, it is still single activated because that consume remains last. It is not in the top three. So what does all of this mean? When you are looking at your personal type, your OP type, or if you're trying to type someone for class, it means that no matter if the function is in a savior or a demon state, are they picking up that tool more often? Are you picking up that tool more often? How often are you referencing it? If you're referencing it more and it's a demon, how does that play out? Are you referencing it more with your energy, even though it's a demon? Or are you referencing it not very much? And remember, accessing with your energy. How are you in the real world pacing your grabbing hold of certain functions, and at what frequency? So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about the animal activation in OP, the stacks of animals, and how to really conceptually see what that means in terms of how your type can play out. So I will see you in my next video. Till next time, goodbye, internet friends.